Welcome to Marriage Moments with life coach Robin May. Can I tell you a secret? I get so excited every time I get an opportunity to share with you strategies and tips that I hope are helping you to be empowered in your relationship. Remember, this year I have a special focus. I'm helping you hit reset in your relationship. My goal is to help you revitalize and reboost your romance. So today, as always, I'm going to share with you 3 tips that I believe if you apply can help you get on the right track or at least stay on the right track. Are you guys ready for the first tip? Let's go. So this month, I want you to revisit the flirty side of your marriage. For some reason, I like to blame it on life, the kids and the bills and the stress. But for some reason, we forget how important it is to just be flirty with our partner. Listen, I know that may not seem like a big deal, and maybe some of you have never stopped flirting with one another. But when we flirt with one another, when we have that kind of fun with one another, it keeps our relationship fresh and keeps us from being a stale couple that becomes more like roommates. Listen, fellas, can I tell you a secret? Every woman wants to know that she is still desired by her man. Ladies, let me give you a tip. He wants to know that you want him just as much as he wants you. Flirting helps you to do that. Now, I'm going to give you a quick little strategy to start the flirting in your relationship. You and your spouse need to come up with a secret that's just between the two of you. Maybe it's a word, a phrase, a look, or an innocent gesture that helps your spouse know, oh, I think you're looking good today, or you're looking really sexy to me. And you do that in public places where nobody else knows what your thing is. I promise you, if you employ that strategy, by the time you guys get home, you won't be able to keep your hands off of each other. So your first strategy is to revisit the flirty and fun side of your marriage. All right, y'all, that was an easy one. Are you ready for the second strategy? Now, I might get some pushback from this, but it is so important that you and your spouse allow space for one another to enjoy independent recreation. I'm a woman of faith, and the I Believe in Marriage Foundation is based on biblical principles. So I know that when we get married, we are to become one. But I think sometimes we forget the importance of maintaining our own independence and our own uniqueness and the things that we really enjoy. There is nothing wrong for you taking time to go to the game with your guy friends, or maybe to go to the movies with your girlfriends. The two of you really want to give each other space for that independent recreation. Because I have found that when you give each other that space where you don't feel mandated or forced to spend all your time together, it only helps you to miss one another and remember why you enjoy spending time together so much anyway. So give each other space to enjoy independent recreation. You might want to get away just by yourself to go to the movies or to go grab a bite to eat. I promise you, giving each other that space will go a long way. All right, so we talked about the importance of revisiting the flirty side of your marriage, and we talked about the importance of independent recreation. But here is your third strategy for this month. I want you and your spouse to reject the fear of conflict. In my work with couples, I have found that many times couples are afraid of conflict in their marriage. As a matter of fact, they begin to think that if we have conflict, that means that we don't have a healthy marriage. But I've actually found the opposite to be true. When you pretend that you have no issues, that's where you have trouble. Listen, it's not the conflict that's the issue. It's how you handle the conflict. I have found that actually conflict helps to simply shine a light on those areas of your marriage that need work. And if you commit to working on those areas, your marriage actually becomes stronger. So I want you to reject the fear of conflict. But I want to help you make sure that you handle conflict in the right way. There are 3 things you need if you're going to process conflict in the right way, and there might be a 4th step for some of you. So number 1, if you're going to handle conflict in the right way, you both must respect one another. If I speak to you in a way that's disrespectful, your guards will go up and you won't hear what I have to say. And that's the same in your relationship. You want to make sure that you communicate your concern in a way that's respectful, that will get what you want ultimately accomplished, and that's the two of you being on one accord. So the first thing is respect. The second part of dealing with conflict appropriately is an open mind. You don't want to go into the conflict saying that you're not going to see your partner's side, or not being intentional about opening your perspective to what they are saying. Listen, when somebody's telling you something that bothers them, of course you might get defensive, but I want you to try your best to just be open-minded to what your spouse is sharing with you. And then the third part of handling conflict appropriately is personal responsibility. So remember, we talk to one another with respect, we have an open mind, and then we're going to take personal responsibility for our role in the conflict. Listen, we all contribute to the chaos that goes on in our relationship, even if your contribution is that you are too passive and you don't speak your mind. So you want to make sure you take personal responsibility for your role in the conflict. I believe if you use those three strategies, you won't be afraid of conflict. Now, remember I said for some of you, you may need a fourth step, and that is if you cannot resolve the conflict on your own, you want to be open to having a third party come in and kind of help you guys sort it out. Listen, there's nothing wrong with getting that help, because sometimes you are so blinded to your perspective and your spouse is so blinded to their perspective, it's hard to see a different side. And an impartial person can come in and kind of help the two of you sort through it. So if you're having a hard time getting through the conflict, don't be afraid to seek help. Okay, so let's recap. So far this month, I want you to revisit the flirty side of your romance. You and your partner are going to come up with a statement or a saying that reminds you of why you desire one another. Then I want you guys to be okay with independent recreation. You can have fun with your other friends and then come back together with your spouse. And then lastly, I want you to reject the fear of conflict and remember to use those three strategies that I talked about. Okay, once you get through this video, I want to remind you, we have so many other videos on this website. You can check us out by going to IBelieveInMarriage.com, clicking on Marriage Moments, and if there is a month that you don't see a video, revisit another month. Just go through all of them, and you and your spouse can have a special tablet that you use to take notes and discuss with one another the things that have been shared so far. Listen, I love connecting with you guys and sharing strategies and tips. I really hope that this is a resource for you. Listen, marriage works if you work it. It's a movement. Tell your family and friends. Let's stay on this journey together. I look forward to seeing you again next month. Take care.